When the stars align, the rites shall come to bear, illuminate the signs, the exiles shall be there. All are not the same, but three shall be as one. Freedom in the flame, the end has just begun. Strands may break alone, but twisted make a braid. Together on their own, the journey shall be made.
Oh my god, it's finally happening.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure, the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed, but I must admit that such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
Is we begun played? I think we have. Maybe. Okay. That was startling. I didn't expect it to, like, just start the moment I opened the game. So I chose to go with realMyst. I don't know if this will be like a controversial decision or something. I went with realMyst Masterpiece Edition. I don't know if we like what resolution we're even playing in right now. I tried to do a lot of research between the different versions, trying to figure out complaints and positives and stuff, because part of me was like, I should play the original Myst where you have to click to walk around, and it's in like 680p and stuff like that, to prepare for the feeling of like what it'd be like to play Riven, since I'll probably play that eventually too, because I think Riven does not have remasters or redone versions or anything, and also because I was like, let's feel what it's like to be 1993 Myst player and stuff, but really nobody I found, and I checked a lot of places, nobody really seemed to think that it was a loss to switch to walking around. It seems like everyone was like, no, that kind of sucked, it was just a limitation of the time. So I kind of went with this. Also, newest version of the game means less likely to crash horribly and have all sorts of weird, horrible technical problems that could cause not so happy things to happen along the way. So let's get started. I've heard about this. A book opens and a video plays, postage stamp-sized video plays in the thing. I think when we were playing Abduction from the creators of Myst, we had an element of this show up at some point as like an Easter egg, but then some people like have made their own versions of these and stuff like that. If I were to guess, I would say that they did it because they needed to figure out how to... They wanted a tiny, tiny video because they couldn't fit a large video in the file size of how the game was distributed back at the time. So we have two options here. Explore like the original Myst by simply pointing and clicking to move forward. Or hold down to keep moving forward. Oh. Pointing and clicking to move forward. That sounds like it might be... Not it, huh. That doesn't even sound like a fixed camera angle, it kind of just sounds like you'd be, like, manually walking around. As opposed to this. That free roam seems like the way to go. Whoa, you can see the camera switch a little bit. I'll do free roam just as a quick check, but if it gives me the option, I'll switch back and forth just to see the difference real quick. Explore anywhere using standard mouse navigation like a PC game. Hooray. Whoa. So the main menu takes you to just this flashlight. Helps and hints for settings. Oh, this is a fake escape menu. I'm like, I can't click on any of these things. Oh, this is weird. How do I turn around? Oh. Wait, how do I... Oh, that could be a problem. Oh, that's a problem. You don't... So the mouse doesn't follow your... Okay. No? Okay, so when I'm walking around, the camera follows my mouse perfectly. So if I'm walking around, it's like a normal PC game. But if I stand still, then it switches to this thing where you can free roam mouse. And then I was saying that was going to be a problem, though it might not be now, is that this is my right monitor. My left monitor is not the video game, and my mouse can leave off the left side of the screen, which it will do instead of rotating. That's fine. That just means I have to, like, if you see me, like, walk up to something, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta turn my camera, you'll see me, like, walk in place for a second. That's totally fixable. That's fine. I'll figure it out. So, for clarity, this is a Patreon playthrough. That means that Morrowind is over, and people voted for this next. You guys are really flexing the minimum and maximum amount of time a game could be, huh? 91 episode playthrough followed by something that I estimate, at least How Long to Beat estimates this game might be like 6 hours or something. So we're going all over the... Ah, that just opened. That just opened right up. That was a surprise. I thought for sure it would not do that, because it's like a door in a Myst game. There's a save menu. There's a flashlight. So you can turn your flashlight on. And then oh, it follows your mouse. Interesting. Oh, that could be like kind of... That's kind of cool and atmospheric for a bit. Maybe keep that on since I'm going inside. Just curious. Let's try Classic Myst real quick. So you can manually change it. That's good to know. So this is Classic Myst. As you're walking around like this. Okay. Is it moving by a singular screen interval at a time? I think it is. Oh yeah. Yeah, I could almost see this. I could see this working out. That's fine. Sorry if I'm wasting a lot of time. I'm just experimenting. This is new for me. So I have distinct memories of starting a game on a dock. So I think I have played Myst before, but not played it. Like, I've never owned this game, so like, I would have been briefly picking it up. I think it was on my grandparents' computer. I may have sat down for a few minutes and had no idea what I was looking at, basically. Like, just being... let's do maximum settings. I'm sure I can handle it. There we go. Or can I? Yeah, I think it's running properly. Okay. So... I think I played this game on my grandparents' computer for like 5 minutes, and because I was like a 6-year-old, I didn't even understand the concept yet of there being puzzle games. So I was like, I didn't understand what the game was supposed to be exactly, and what was happening in it. The game actually is chugging, I think. Let's try... high, maybe? Maybe I'll fiddle with that between episodes a little bit. Just maybe turn that flashlight back on. Look at that. Active shadow engine. Bet that wasn't in the original version. I think the whole game was pre-rendered scenes in the first version, but I don't really know for sure. Hello? Well, that's some 90s sounding music. It was like an inch away from being the Goosebumps theme for a second there, I think. Hello. Settings. Dimensional Imager. Topographical Extrusion Test, 40. Marker Switch Diagram, 47. Water Turbulent Pool, 67. And those numbers might be important. Alright, let's get rid of this flashlight. Doesn't seem necessary at the moment. Okay. Oh, hi. Did I do a bad? Hello. So it's set to 67 right now. Let's remind ourselves what that was. Water turbulent pool. There's a marker switch diagram and a topographical extrusion test. Okay. This seems to be perfectly evenly laid out as far as the dots in the grid and the drones, I'd almost call them, look like. There's a device down here. Okay. Aw, yeah. Fear my might. So I can't seem to interact with this directly, I don't think. So if I were to guess, based on abduction being made by the same people, I would guess that these little things are going to be doorways to different locations at some point. Because abduction reacted similarly with the its own hub world system. There's 47 and 40. Let's try 47. Oh, right, and I should say preemptively, I'm probably not going to read the comments for this entire series. Whenever there's a puzzle game, people tend to shout out spoilers, like, just constantly. And that goes doubly sure for a puzzle game that's not brand new, and many of you have already played before. There's an ongoing thing where everyone thinks that their spoilers aren't spoilers, and only the other people's spoilers are spoilers, and nah, I'm just going to not read the comments on the series until it's over. It's just a bad idea, too. So we have, like, a podium? Topographical... No, that was the marker switch diagram. Right. So that's the marker switch. This blueprint of this thing. So that thing must be some kind of switch that I'm going to have to look out for in the environment, I suppose. I doubt I interact with this one. Let's try 40. That appears to be a blueprint of Myst. The island of Myst. Which fits because I think it said topographical extrusion test, yep. Even without playing it, I've seen, like, banner images and other little moments of exposure enough here and there to kind of recognize what the Isle of Myst silhouette kind of looks like. It is just kind of a vague mountain, though. So I don't know if there's anything to do in there yet. We'll see. Let's explore. I still have to get a feel for how puzzles even feel in this game. So we have a sunken ship. We'll see if I ever interact with that or not. Seems kind of like it's just a example. Might even be... Maybe we're even supposed to think that's how I got here somehow? No, I probably got here through the book, right? Oh, this is the thing that we had a blueprint of. It's one of these guys. I did it. Now it's up. Hooray. Okay. I don't think I know about anything in the environment moving. Well, keep that in mind for later. We have a giant gear, another one of these podiums. Aw, yeah. They call me the switch flipper because I flip switches and take names. But I have paramorphophagia crap. The disease where you can't recognize faces. So this gear looks incomplete. The bottom of it is clearly like a weird opening. I wonder if that's just like an unfinished thing, or more likely it seems like it might be a puzzle, right? Like it's gonna rotate and then I can walk through it or something. Can I jump? Nope. Not with spacebar at least. Oh, flashlight is a toggle for F. There we go. Never have to look up that manually again. Q, X, C is X, buttons. Nope. Nothing else did anything. Wouldn't really expect anything over here because it's a point-and-click game, so going... You probably can't walk over here, normally. Suppose I could test it if I wanted to. Another switch! Hooray! It also did nothing, I think. Oh, I know that stock sound. You can turn off the lights in here. Then I become the Lord of the Night lights. Oh. Trippy. Whoa, it's like a magic hologram sky. Can I sit down in it? Yep. Okay. January 1st, 2000. Oh, I can pull it in front of me. Okay. Oops. Oh, that takes you out. Okay. So you can set the month, date, month, day, year, time of day, and so on. I currently have 0 coordinates to go after, so I should probably not go straight for pressing buttons right now. Are these interactive? Nope. Let's keep exploring for a bit. Catherine, I've left for you a message of utmost importance in our 4 chamber beside the dock. Enter the number of marker switches on this island into the imager to retrieve the message. Yours, Sirrus. Interesting. I bet that's not an accident. So, I'm playing a game called The Eyes of Era right now, which is very clearly inspired by games like Myst, but it's a recent release, last few years or so. And the name Catherine showed up as like an Easter egg as far as I could tell. And I think that might be a call to this game specifically then. That seems like there's just a lot of names to pick from. Let's see. The chamber beside the dock. Enter the number of marker switches on this island into the imager to retrieve the messages. Okay. We've established that these things are called marker switches, right? If I want to be 100% sure, fastest way to know for sure is to double check that that's exactly what it called it here. Marker switch diagram. That is exactly what they call the podium. So I need to count how many podiums there are on the entire island, then insert that into a thing somewhere. So 1, 2. We'll try to keep count as we go, I suppose. There's a third one in front of the door here. So I need to insert those into the 4 chamber beside the dock. Okay. Is that just that? The 4 chamber? There's this thing. They both have things where you can input numbers. Not 100% sure yet. Library? You beeping at me? That's not what paintings are supposed to do. Also, something seems vaguely disrespectful about having a staircase out of bookcases. I believe that was looping. Whoa. What have I done? Did I just repair the book?
Sirrus? Is that you? Are you? See you. Help me. Bring blue pages.
My ears. Okay. That's probably enough for now. He said bring me blue pages, which was relatively intuitive because I put a page in it and then it did that. Wait, how did I get in here? Through there. It's closed now. So that's what the painting did? Oh, let me guess, bring me red pages.
Lies. Bring me a red page.
Gonna cut it off there. Was that the guy from Abduction? That might have been the guy from Abduction. Hard to make out from that perspective. But I believe that actor shows up throughout the games because he's one of the designers or something. Or something, I think. Tower rotation. Okay. Can I do anything here? Yes. So now it's like... Oh, I can't look outside, though. Let's go this way for now. I can probably just set it back to the other direction if I want to, but let's press forward a bit. I am in an underground elevator. Lights all around, lots of tile. Thank you for your input. Alright. Floor tiles don't seem to do anything. Its only button is to go to the library. Or maybe I just close you. There we go. Never mind. So it only has one button because it only has 2 floors to switch between. But you do have to close the door. It rotates. Oh, that makes sense. So that was the library, now this is the tower. And it had to rotate because I rotate the tower, so the entire thing has to be able to match that rotation or it'd be in some trouble. There's a... Oh, that was a key symbol. October 11th, 1984. 10... Okay, I need to write these down. This is clearly a reference to the time machine thing from the other room. So I'm writing now. October 11th. 1984, 10:04 a.m. Fixing legibility problem I created. Whoops. January 17th, 1207, 5:46 a.m. November 23rd, 9791 at 6:57 p.m. That feeling of being told to warp an incredibly long distance into the future, but at a very incredibly specific time. We wouldn't want to get slightly off on the time. Wow, that is a severe flashlight, by the way. Blah. Go straight to completing the brightest thing ever. Okay, so I want this, clearly. We're gonna keep you in our brain. My paper brain. There's no, like... What's this button here? I don't know what that button means. How do I save, by the way? Oh, you drag it. Neat. Learning things. Okay. It'd be very nice if this game had abduction... Was it Quern or Abduction? Either Quern or Abduction had a really cool thing where you could, press a button to write down stuff in your notebook in the game, which meant take a screenshot, which was a really cool feature. And you had a journal of screenshots. I think both games had it, actually. Just Quern had the fun gimmick of making it look like it was actually a notebook, like it was a sketchbook of pictures, as opposed to genuine screenshots. And frankly, Abductions was glitched, so if you deleted one, it would delete the wrong one. And I'm like, no, that's kind of a bad thing to have happen, oh no. Okay, so that one's key, that one's book. Unnerving how they look like eyes. What am I looking at out there? Oh, that's a graphical glitch. That's what that is. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's doing this thing where it's like there's no texture out that door, basically, so it's like duplicating the closest texture on the screen, basically. Well, that severely limits how much we can get done around here. Okay, so we have 2 staircases that go to... One's an opening in the tower, one is just a plaque. And that's all that's here. Are you interactive? You're just a big bolt of some kind. So back we go. I need to figure out what's up with the whole rotating the tower thing, because I can figure it probably needs to be pointed in a specific direction for some purpose, but I need to figure out what that is first. Then maybe it shoots a laser or something. But we have 3 different things I can type into our coordinate box thing. Ooh, I can go in here. Okay. Aren't you a strange one? Seems to remember what I put in last, too. There we go. That's too much. Alright. Bye-bye. So we have a punch card grid thing. So I clicked on you, and that made it become underground land. So if I click on you, does it take us back above ground, or what? Okay. So you're still accessible. Okay. So it just means that this thing is just a matter of whether or not this is going to be open versus that being open, and maybe nothing else. Everything else still seems accessible. I have called this age Channelwood, and it is a very different world. Though it is exactly how I imagined it, it is still amazing to see it with my own eyes. Water covers this age as far as I can see, except for a small rocky island. Elsewhere, there are only trees which grow directly out of the water. A myriad of thin, wooden passageways are built just above the water and disappear into the forest. I assume they were built some time ago, for they appear aged. I am eager to discover more about this land and its people, but I have arrived here late, and I must rest. I am awakened this morning by strange noises coming from a pathway adjacent to the one on which I had slept. I saw a group of monkey-like people heading in my direction. They had not seen me yet. I did not feel threatened by their presence. Their response to me was one that I would have never expected. After staring at me for a short time, they fell to their knees and began what appeared to be some sort of ceremonial worship. I tried to speak to them, but they did not understand my language. Instead, they indicated through enthusiastic hand motions that I was to follow them. As we walked, I began to notice that the waters below us were changing colors. Slowly, subtly, they would change from deep blue to muddy orange, then from muddy orange to beautifully clear. I was so intrigued by the water I hardly noticed that we had arrived at a ladder. Climbing the ladder led us to their village, which is about 10 meters from the water and can only be reached by rope ladders that stretch from the lower paths to the village level, approximately halfway up to the grand trees. It is very interesting watching these people carry out their daily tasks, even after watching them for hours. I did not understand exactly what they were doing. At sunset, they motioned for me to follow them. I followed the creatures to the doorway of an enormous hut. Strangely, once inside, I found that the hut appeared even larger than it had from the outside. The walls were garnished with bright metals, and in the center of the hut sat the leader of these people. At least he appeared to be their leader, for he sat a meter off the floor in a thick throne. Guards surrounded the strong creature, who was dressed in many exotic, colorful fabrics. Next to the leader sat a very old human, at least to some extent he appears human. His hair, which was only on his face and head, was completely gray, almost white, and hung very long around his frail body. His thin head hung limply by an almost grotesque neck, that could not hold its head up to look at me. But what a surprise. This creature could speak my language. Shortly thereafter, I was given a bed with some hand motions that looked to be telling me to go to sleep. I look forward to learning more. As I suspected, the ancient creature is a human, but he is old beyond his own reckoning, and seems almost insane. However, the tree dwellers almost revere him as a god. They are treating me now in the same fashion, which makes me feel very uncomfortable. It is almost impossible to understand this old man. His voice is feeble but wild. He has adopted much of the language of the tree dwellers. He himself told me he had not spoken our tongue in ages. He attempted to explain to me the history of this place. The following is my best translation of what he has told me. Many years ago, the humans and tree dwellers lived together in this place, which was then a vast island. They interacted very little. The humans dwelt on the ground, and the tree dwellers lived high above the humans. Occasionally, the island was disturbed by mysterious rumblings which happened randomly, some sort of tectonic or volcanic action, I suspect. The sometimes slight, sometimes heavy tremors would only last a short time. Then they would stop, allowing everything to return to normal. One day things changed. The rumbling began and grew quickly to unprecedented levels. Soon it became apparent that the entire island was sinking slowly into the ocean around them. Many of the humans died that day, but not before sacrificing themselves in order to stop the sinking of the island. The humans who lived through this catastrophe moved into the trees, where they gradually died out. Maybe they were unequipped for such an environment, but I'm not sure. This is the story of the old man. This is the story the old man communicated to me. Although many details are very unclear in my mind, I am especially confused as to how the humans saved the island from completely sinking. In fact, I doubt the accuracy of that part of the story. The island must have stopped on its own, yet the old man believes in the truth of the story as if he had been there, and the tree dwellers worship him, and apparently all humans, as if they were heroes or gods. So he is crossed out. There's actually little changes like that. The old man ended our conversation today with an event which I will never forget. He began gripping my hands tightly, murmuring something about rest and to sleep, and then said, "We had expected you to come sooner." These actions filled me with a sort of immediate dread. With much effort, he stood to his feet. I tried to help him, but he pushed me away with more force than I imagined his frail body contained. The tree dwellers quietly surrounded him with very solemn faces. They then kneeled before him. He walked to each and placed his hand on their heads. All the while, he murmured words which I did not understand. Finally, he turned to me and smiled. Then he closed his eyes and walked out the door and off of the narrow path high in the trees. The tree dwellers were silent. They began a procession down the nearest rope ladder. As I was descending, I saw several of them pick up the body. He had fallen onto a lower level of walkway and carried away. He was lain down at the dead end of a short pier-like structure. With the use of some potion, one of the tree creatures lit the pier on fire, and I watched as the flames engulfed him. As this strange funeral proceeded, the waters around the pier changed dull green. This morning I awoke, finding it hard to even believe the previous evening's events. The water is a dull green for as far as I can see now. For some reason, the water no longer shifts color. As I wander throughout the pathways, the creatures watch me, curious to see what I will do next. They are constantly offering me strange objects of affection. I even found food outside the doorway to the room in which I had slept. This is a unique race of beings. I hope to learn their language soon, so that I may learn more from them. That's interesting. The color of the ink is changing color now. Gonna take a quick drink. Sorry. I had some coffee set up and I'm like, wait a minute. This game's never going to give me a moment where I'm not doing something or talking, so I'm never going to have a chance to drink this. The upsides of games with cutscenes. So the question is the color referencing some change in time for the same person or a different person writing entirely? I guess we'll figure it out as we go. I've lived on this world for 3 months off and on, and the tree dwellers have shown great hospitality. I'm even beginning to learn bits of their language. I have decided to return home for an extended stay with my loving wife and sons, and hopefully return with them. However, I am sure Catherine will once again refuse. I think this age would be a wonderful experience for them all, and I at least look forward to how Sirrus and Akinar will react to its curious inhabitants. Catherine is staying behind as expected. My sons have returned with me, and they enjoy this age very much. They get along very well with the tree dwellers and are picking up their language surprisingly fast. I had no doubt that it will not be too long before they can speak with the tree dwellers as better than I can. Or much better than myself. Let's see. Did we have the names? We have Catherine. No, the sons don't have names for us yet. No, Sirrus and Akinar. That's from before. Yeah. Sirrus, Akinar, and Catherine. And if I go back to that note from earlier, I can find out the name of the character that wrote this journal then. Most likely, being Catherine's husband, I think. I am leaving tomorrow to check on the Osmoian Age. Sirrus has suggested that I allow him and his brother to stay, though the idea unsettles me. I know the boys are growing up rapidly. The hospitality of these creatures is such that I could think of no better place to leave them alone for a short while, so I will consent to their request. I warned the boys not to take advantage of the respect of the tree dwellers have for their ideas. They seem to understand my warning, and I have faith they will follow it. Much to my dismay, upon arriving in Everdunes, I learned that Pran and her people are continuing to be menaced by the Choctic. If there's anything to learn from abduction and how that's supposed to be directly not only made by the people that made Myst, but also inspired by the ideas of how Myst is structured, I'm guessing we're talking about several different parallel worlds and the societies that inhabit each different world. As far as I assume that the book portal I came through is what we're calling ages, and so we're going through similar portals to get to each age, basically, which seems like the ages might not even be different timelines, but might just be literally different worlds that are called ages for some reason. Maybe. I fear for their survival and plan on returning to her shortly after checking on Sirrus and Akinar here. See Everdune's journal for more information. After watching Sirrus and Akinar, I see they are handling things very well. I think I can put to rest any fears about leaving them in Channelwood again. And for a little longer time. The tree dwellers seem slightly distressed that I am leaving, but are happy that Sirrus and Akinar are staying behind again. I have been gone for over 3 days, and have been to many different places. I had to tell Sirrus and Akinar about Pran's death today, and they were visibly shaken, although they only remembered her from their childhood. Catherine has suggested that it would be wise for Sirrus and Akinar to leave Channelwood for a while, and I have to agree. They will be returning with me when I leave again. I have told my sons that they will be returning with me in 2 days. They spent the entire night telling me of an adventure they experienced in my absence, and it was rather remarkable. It seems they constructed a boat with the creatures and traveled some ways into the surrounding waters. I enjoy hearing them talk excitedly of their adventures, and am reminded of my own adventures as a child. I finally understand why the tree dwellers have been giving me their many inks and insisting I write with them. Looking through some of my past entries, I see now that the inks have changed from the black. I thought they were to various different colors. Oh, the black that he thought that, like he thought it was black and now it's changing colors. Okay. I have shown some of the creatures in my journal and they laughed and howled. I did not know they had such a sense of humor. Even now I look through this very colorful journal, I cannot help but laugh myself. We will be returning tomorrow, so my sons are with the creatures for the last night here. They have told me they would like to come to Channelwood again, and also asked if they can visit some other ages alone. Though I will have to think over their request, I believe they have proven to me they are trustworthy and responsible. Catherine will also have to help me decide whether they are ready for travel alone, for now I must give my farewells to the creatures, for I do not know how long it will be until I visit them at this age again. Okay. Interesting. That's a map. It'll take a very long time to draw, so I'm going to see if I can get away with screenshotting. And don't minimize the game. Oh. Well, at least you guys can't see it minimized for whatever reason. There's some fascinating things that happen with recording sometimes. Alright, I'm going to call this one Myst Map 1. Just saving it as a reference in case I need to refer to it later. We'll see. Because this might be possible. That's an interesting little map there we got. Oh, weird. Oh, weird. What's happening? Sorry, I'm looking at the recording right now. I'm highlighting the top left. So I'm highlighting this spot on my screen. But on the screen of the recording, it looks like I'm highlighting the bottom corner of the building thing. Oh, that is weird. Is that what happens when you go off the screen and come back? What the heck? That is bizarre. Okay. If I look around a little bit. No, it's not recentering itself. Not even when I go into this mode. Oh no, that's a problem. Oh, that's burned up. So if I highlight the blue book on my screen, which am I highlighting this one? That one's readable. That's the bottom shelf. This is the middle shelf one. No, that one's readable too. Where was the broken one? Oh, these are all... Okay, so all the burned up ones are all burned up. Okay. Well, I'm gonna save and reboot real quick, because that is a problem I don't want to have to deal with. It's gonna be really confusing if the mouse is in a different spot on your screen than mine. Why is... That's a new problem. The fun hijinks that happen when you play older games. They interact so strangely with the recording software sometimes.